What is it? I'm busy. Guess what I found? 1. Why would I care? 2. How did you get my number? And 3. Can you go stuff yourself in a bee's nest? It's a puppy! Effectively answering none of my questions. You just see, it'll be great! We'll go for walks, play fetch, hunt down my enemies, go on adventures, maybe save the world a few times. Wait, what were the other things? I'm bringing it over! What? No! I will not have that mutt of yours tear up my new... And you were just waiting outside this whole time, weren't you? I'm gonna name it Speckles! That is the most idiotic name I've ever heard of. Well, he likes it. Don't you, Speckles? Yes, you do.
Bark.
What the... Whoa, whoa, whoa! Take it easy, Griffin. There could be little colts and griffins watching. That is not a puppy. Ah, don't be silly. Soft fur, wet nose. What else could it be? An abomination of nature. Well, now, that's just offensive. You're hurting his feelings.
Woof.
Not even you can be this sick. Just look at that thing. I am, and you know what he needs? A new bouncy ball. You want that, buddy? Huh? Huh? That sound good?
Bow wow.
Aw, you wait right here then. I'll be right back from the pet store. What? No! You come back in. You take this flea-bitten monk where you found it.
Barkity bark bark. And... suckers. Now I'm gonna raid your fridge and tear up your couch. Hello, my loyal subjects. Heather Blossom here, and allow me to introduce Rover, Fido, and Spot. And also Manga Kamen. You may not know them by name, but you should recognize these dogs from the Season 1 episode A Dog and Pony Show, the burly antagonist that captured our fair Rarity and were then overcome by her annoying brilliance. I know what you're thinking. Not the brightest tools in the shed, are they? Nope, they're just your garden variety fools. But what if I told you this trio are the minds behind a brighter future for all diamond dogs?
Say what?
Yes, these 3 pups will be the bringers of a new tomorrow, as revolutionaries of the new Diamond Dog Republic.
You'll have to forgive me, I find that claim a little far-fetched.
Oh, what you don't know, my fine feathered friend, is the proof lies here!
You.
What? I mean, no, here! Bah! Hold on. Can't believe it. This is embarrassing. No, I had it. Aha!
What was that last one?
Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to. And here is the proof.
Oh joy, the comics.
I know what you're thinking. Yet again.
Did I fire 6 shots or only 5?
Howdy har har, KP Jr. But this comic holds the truth of Diamond Dog Society, providing us the backdrop for a most noble quest. Recap it, pretty bird, and make it short and sweet.
Great, I'm stuck like this again. Hooray. Alright, the long and short of the comics that one day Rainbow Dash gets a letter from a faraway kingdom to perform for royalty. As par for the course of Rainbow Dash's ego, she can't help herself and flies to the kingdom, only to discover that it's a kingdom of diamond dogs. Reluctant at first, Dash gets convinced to at least meet the queen of the diamond dogs, which turns out to be Trixie!
What a twist!
After some exposition on how Trixie remained calm and collected during the situation, we learn that the Diamond Dog Kingdom has a failsafe against runaway leaders. An enchanted collar/crown, which essentially works like an invisible fence around the kingdom for the unfortunate soul who wears it. So, after coming up with a plan, shenanigans ensue and the 2 escape from the kingdom.
Blah-de-dee-blah blah, isn't friendship wonderful? Honestly, this was just building for 2 characters I just don't care too much about. What does fascinate me, though, is the Diamond Dog Kingdom. Rainbow Dash herself described the place as a fixer-upper, and was overall unimpressed with its presence to say the least. And Trixie goes as far to say that the general populace is, well, dumb.
Can't be too dumb. After all, they seem to have an aptitude for magic.
Actually, that's quite doubtful. We learned from witnessing Twilight that mastering spells is no simple task and comes from long periods of study. The general Diamond Dog population is shown to be vastly undereducated and aren't even shown to use spells where most other races would, like in construction, not even simple levitation. The color crown was either constructed by an exceptional diamond dog, or the diamond dog simply kidnapped a unicorn, or other magical creature, and had them constructed instead, which seems more likely.
Or it could just be an artifact from ancient times. There was mention of 7 artifacts with the mystical powers for up in the recent season.
Also a possibility, but either way you pitch it, it still leaves most diamond dogs with an under-average IQ, which begs the question, why? If My Little Pony has taught me anything, it's that everyone has hidden potential, and since one particular diamond dog was even able to coherently speak about electoral process shortly, it has me thinking that all diamond dogs have the capacity to learn. But notice when the before-mentioned dog spoke about this knowledge so easily, it was met with shock. This implies that diamond dogs are generally expected to be uninformed, and that's usually a symptom of a bad educational system or lack thereof.
Well, we also take into consideration the culture of the diamond dogs on that matter. Consider the whole castle and surf motif going on. If anything, the diamond dog culture here could be reminiscent of medieval lore, or even more specifically Old English kingdoms or Arthurian legend. Considering the clothing of the diamond dogs, we could be looking at a lower class, since we're also shown during the flight demonstration of other dogs who are dressed more fancily, or what could be considered fancy during this time period. If anything, we're looking at a simple classic example of classism. There might be more intelligent diamond dogs in the upper class, but hey, it's just a theory. A diamond dog theory! Thanks for watching!
Hold it! We aren't done here yet, Tweety.
Hey, I take offense to that. If anything, you should refer to me as Foghorn.
You realize what that would make you?
What? I'm already 5% chicken.
Think long and hard. Either way, good observations. Interesting to note about the class and serf system, though, is that they had a nasty habit of treating the lower class, and oftentimes the larger class, harshly. There wasn't usually systems of public education, and funds weren't normally spent purely for their benefit, which would explain why the Diamond Dog Kingdom looks pretty plain and cheap. And why should it be? We see in the same issue that the royal treasury is stacked to the brim with gems. Sure, we don't actually know the monetary value of said gems, but they are often used as a form of currency, and those who have been paid this way, like in Rarity Takes Manhattan, act as if they've been handed a bundle, or at least a 20, so those gems are worth a pretty penny, or bit, whatever. Funny thing is, a populace can grow sick of such lowly conditions, and we need only to look at examples such as the French Revolution to see where that usually leads to. Bringing us back to our 3 hounds of the hour, who may lead all dog kind to salvation. Oh no, is that the Colonel? Oh, Manga, I see you highlighted your feathers a brighter shade of pink.
It's not pink, it's lightish red!
That's what they all say. Mind getting back in the game here?
Also, it's natural. Anyway, so the 3 dogs we saw on the show, they could be rebels or they could be castaways. Not that kind of castaway.
You really are a spawn of the teal one. The Queen's attendant does mention that the trio we are familiar with were rogues, claiming they were too rough for them, which is funny because they hardly appear different in that regard. They keep their own leaders captive with an enchanted leash and grow to near right when their gems are threatened. Perhaps it wasn't that these villains 3 were more rough, but were seen as radicals because they threatened what the deity valued most. Gems. Duh. Living in a society where wealth is clearly had and yet unused while they must go about in a poor and ignorant lifestyle would be more than enough for anyone to want change. And since it's clear that these dogs aren't drones, it wouldn't surprise me that some dogs were finally insisting on using gems to fund public works.
That does tend to happen. It's certainly one idea for those 3 diamond dogs and why they're so gung-ho about getting gems. After all, you need money to make the world go round. More so than a new kingdom in this case. But there's something to consider. Remember in the episode the diamond dogs had armored and armed guards?
I did indeed. I imagine that there would be more than these 3 who shared this viewpoint, and it's not too hard to imagine some would be ex-military.
Yes, but it would be a standard reason that when you leave your country in a huff like that, or even if you're part of the military, you would want to get rid of the symbols that you left behind, right?
True, but I'm not the type to throw good armor away.
But you could sell it and get some scratch in your pocket.
That's also a thought, and I would think a diamond dog would do that, especially to help fund the new kingdom.
Then allow me to present a hypothesis. What if Rover and the other 2 main diamond dogs from the show were actually royalty in the Diamond Dog Kingdom?
What would imply that?
Aside from the armored guards that follow Rover's orders, the 3 diamond dogs in the show did show some good tactics against the main 6, sans Rarity, showing a bit more intelligence than some of the other diamond dogs we see in the comic. The fact that the Queen's Attendant automatically knew who Dash was talking about, despite the fact that we learned in the comic that there were a lot more leaders who ran off, so those three must have had a bit more impact to them leaving. And even then, one-array royalty can still be considered as rogues as well.
Interesting. But if they were royals, couldn't they have changed the system from the inside?
Not necessarily. You forget the power of the nobles. If there was a change in such a culture, there would be a class system. The richer of the classes would directly be opposed to the idea of using currency to improve things, especially if there would be an increase of taxes to pay for said materials to produce the conditions. It's par for the course when preparing such improvements. And there's one thing to note, the richer you are, the more you pay in taxes.
I see. I wouldn't be surprised if there was an attempted coup! This'll make some gnarly fanfiction. But now I can't help but feel really bad with how a Dog and Pony show ended. There had to be enough gems in there to make a serious bump in the Kingdom Fund, and they gave it all away to save themselves from Rarity's wailing. Guess no one's that dedicated to a cause?
Either that or the nobles whined like that when they decided to raise taxes.
PTSD probably. Though if these three are royals, they don't act much like it. They dress like any commoner of their kingdom, and they don't seem any more well-read.
I would think they wouldn't want to be recognized as runaway royalty, so they tried hard to seem like common riffraff in order to avoid capture or execution.
Huh. Now that just might be solid enough to stand on. Alright, you can say the thing now.
I would, but now I must attend to a matter of grave importance. Here, Speckles! Here, boy! Where'd you go?
Wow, I actually feel sorry for that dummy. Here's hoping he gets bored of this quick.
Yay, Speckles!